Pakistan's worst kept secret is out. It was something that India always knew, but now Pakistan has embarrassed itself on the global stage once again with their own admission, and it's Pakistan's defense minister no less. When questioned by a journalist, Khwaja Asif admits that Pakistan has been doing the dirty work of funding terrorist organizations for up to 3 decades. But he further goes on to say that this was done under the watch of the United States, and it was for the Americans that Pakistan has done this dirty work for nearly 30 years. Let's listen in to the comments coming in. But before that, a quick update of what exactly he has been stated. He says that you admit that Pakistan funds terrorists was the question by the Sky News journalist. He goes on to say that we've been doing this dirty work for the past 3 decades is what he has specifically stated. Goes on to add that it's on the behest of the United States and the West that all of this work has happened ostensibly. Listen in to that particular comment that's coming in from Khwaja Asif, and then we take this across to our guests. All right, joining us here in the studio for more on this, we have Lalit Ambardar, activist, joining us, and also our guest joining us from outside. We have with us Arsan Singh, author and defense expert; Hamid Khan, Pakistani journalist; Abdul Samad, leader of the PTI, is also with us. Arsan Singh, this is not something that India did not know, but it appears Pakistan is once again embarrassed itself on the international platform, because on the one hand, you have the Pakistan PMO statement yesterday saying that Pakistan has nothing to do with what has happened in Pahalgam, and on the other hand, they say that no, we've actually been doing this dirty work for the United States for the last 3 decades. It couldn't get more embarrassing than it already is. Arsan Singh.
No, you said something India did not know. Yes, India knew, but India failed to understand and to an extent comprehend. He is absolutely right. And if you think that Pakistan was created as a homeland for Muslims, sir, it is the biggest myth. While departing, by transferring power, the British, and later on that legacy was, strategic legacy was handed over to the Americans. They said, Jinnah was told that we'll give you a territory and we will rule that territory as far as our strategic exigencies are concerned. And so it was created. And then we were told that, we have some interest in, we want territory for as a frontline status, and then we have our interest in Arabian Sea, we have our interest in Indian need East Pakistan as well. So it was never a homeland for Muslims. As if that would have bing the case, then Chittagong Hill Tracts would not have gone to East Pakistan. But the factor is that the creator of Pakistan, I mean the political creator of Pakistan, well, he cheated his people because that man, imagine, he was dying and he wanted that Governor General's buggy for himself, whose one leg was in grave. So to that extent, and then what happened was that it is, I mean, because you had fooled your Muslim masses, and so the Americans used you. They knew your jihadi, they knew your jihadi proclivities, and they used it against the Soviet Union. And then you started using the same, you thought that, my God, we have humbled a superpower called Soviet Union, and now it is India's turn. And now, I mean, now what we have seen, you see what has happened. We have unleashed the water weapon, which is worse than nuclear weapon, and it is an act of war. And we would like you, I mean, you have been showing a lot of threats, here, there, nuclear threat. It's an act of war. It's a question of your survival.
Okay.
Do whatever. But I see you unraveling. Firstly, you were created by the British, and now the time is over now.
Okay. Hamid Khan, Pakistan unraveling. Pakistan's own response, from Mr. Khwaja Asif exposes Pakistan itself. Because you can't be saying in the Prime Minister's statement that yes, this is an attack that has nothing to do with us, and the Defense Minister coming out to say, nahi, terror ko to haji hum 30 years se kar rahe hain, this is the dirty work we are doing for United States. How are the two statements compatible? Hamid Khan.
To be honest, I'm very sad with your interpretation, what you are doing it for that response from our defense minister. It is very clear that, yes, Pakistan have suffered the most from terrorism in the last 25, 30 years. Pakistan have paid the highest price of over 80,000 civilian casualties. Over 12,000 security forces personnel gave their life for the war of terrorism. And yes, Pakistan has been... if you let me complete, please. And yes, Pakistan is the one who was supporting Afghan Mujahideen at the time of the Shia war. Yes, Pakistan is the one who supported Americans when it was 9/11, and then Pakistan is the one who supported. But at the same time, Pakistan is being victim by Indian terrorism and Indian Ross terrorism.
Sir, you cannot claim to be a victim of what happened in the United States as far as 9/11 is concerned, given that Osama was found, I beg your pardon, in Pakistan itself. An international terror like Osama bin Laden found in Pakistan. Lalit, how is this even compatible? Is that even an argument?
Listen, what Mrs. Clinton told them, if you rear snakes in your backyard, they are going to bite you, and they are biting you. Can you imagine today Pakistan has become a destination for jihadis? It's a pilgrimage for jihadis all around the world. It was for earlier only for Taliban, Afghan Mujahideen. Today it's for those very Mujahideen who are now attacking you. It's for Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, and they are going to bite you. Those who are trying to embrace now because you are trying to use them against India, they are also going to bite you. It's Islamic movement of Turkestan, East Turkestan, that's headquartered in Pakistan. Uzbekistan Islamic movement is headquartered in your country. So your country is a pilgrimage center for global terrorists. Now listen, what this foreign minister, this defense minister said, it's an acknowledgement. Even your General Ziaul Haq said, Allah said that all these people are our assets. So please, and also I want to tell you, the Pakistanis did not drop from the sky. They were India-born Indians till 14th August 1947. I agree with Colonel Arazan saying that it was it was part of that Cold War, and followed by earlier it was Great Game and the Cold War, that Pakistan was created because of its geopolitical situation. It was a strategic drug trust. It was used, but the mobilization of Islamists, Muslims' opinion in favor of Pakistan was on the basis of two-nation theory of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Muhammad Iqbal, and then you had Jinnah, in the name of exclusivity, incompatibility of Islam. That's what Pakistan is suffering today. Your incompatibility, exclusivity is going to boomerang on you. And let me tell you, assure you, what you've done in Pahalgam, you have turned the valley of Pahalgam into valley of widows. I assure you, all your cantonments, all your GHQ headquarters, and including your Pindi GHQ headquarters of Pakistan Army, will be converted into widow cantonment. This is
very strong words. Sure. Very strong words. Abdul Samad, you want to respond to that? He's saying that India will avenge every one of those widows, and it will be at the cost of your own military and security forces. Your response, Abdul Samad.
Well, I am surprised and shocked. I mean, this shameless creature, the defense minister of Pakistan, is so naive about the history that he is mixing two different incidents. One is the war in Afghanistan against the Soviet, which the Arab countries were on board, which the large part of the world community who were fighting against the communism was on board. But after concluding the Soviet war, Pakistan deliberately, Pakistan intentionally, covertly shifted its policy to bleed with India with the 1,000 cuts. And now this wasn't by the support of any Western country. I mean, Pakistan Kashmir policy was supported only by Pakistan or few of the Arab countries, covertly, not very openly. But this jihad was entirely started by the Pakistan. I mean, now this person who has, I think, defense minister wrongly has studied the Niccolo Machiavelli, the political philosopher, that let your dirty work done by the others. I mean, if this shameless creature is doing someone else's dirty work at the moment, I mean, he is holding this position and letting this dirty work on the behalf of the establishment. I mean, so he is so used to doing his dirty work on the behalf of, because he himself is the puppet.
Why are you blaming only him? Even Imran Khan has admitted, and this is what he said, in fact, at the US Institute of Peace. He says, until we came into power, governments did not have political will. When you talk about militant groups, we still have 30 to 40,000 armed people who've been trained and fought in some part of Afghanistan or Kashmir. There was a watershed in Pakistani politics, so on and so forth. He goes, your own party's leader has admitted it, sir.
No, if there is an insurgency in the Kashmir, yes, the insurgencies has the moral legitimacy. I mean, all over the world, and usually it happens that the majority of the insurgents got the moral legitimacy from the world. I mean, even it
what moral
happens in the
legitimacy are you talking
Sudan.
about, sir? You're talking about moral legitimacy of terrorists who are killing innocent tourists? What legitimacy are you talking about? The only ones giving it legitimacy is Pakistan. Only Pakistan and Pakistan's deep state gives it legitimacy. Nobody else does.
We as a Pakistani completely morally support the insurgency of the Kashmir, and we have been supporting them. This is what Imran Khan.
So you are a terror state. You have just proved that you are a terror state. You are nothing but a terror state that exports terror across the world.
Let me remind him. Let me remind you, sir. Your leader Imran Khan. He's an original Islamist. He was a cricketer. He posed as a cricketer. He has written it himself. Whenever we took a run up to the Indian batsman, when he was a bowler, cricketer, you know, we always had Kashmir on our mind. This you are talking about it? Then listen about Ayaz Amir. Ayaz Amir was your, he's a famous journalist and he has been your Senate member as well. You know what he writes was when you launched Zarbe-az in your North Waziristan, he said, explaining, justifying you bombarding and killing your own people and the global jihadis in your own country on your own soil, which you had bred. You know what he writes? He writes, what Pakistan has on hand in North Waziristan is the battle-hardened jihadis who took the might of Indian army head-on in Kashmir. Now you are trying to camouflage it. You have to camouflage it. You have accepted it yourself. Your people are accepting it. And let me tell you, if today Pakistan is going to be devastated, converted into Gaza, it will be Pakistanis responsible for it. Pakistanis are not. You allowed yourself to be exploited because you behaved as a seductress. I repeat, geostrategic seductress. Everybody exploited you, and you allowed yourself to be exploited, all in the name of Islam. Khan. All in the name of Islam. All in the name of exclusivity, and they became the Thekedar. And today, let me remind all of them, they are finding a new patron, Erdogan. He will also go, his country will equally suffer because he is also trying to be a new Khalifa now.
Hamid Khan, respond to that. End of the day, the kind of weaponry that was used by these individuals, you know, the fact that these persons have come from Pakistan, all of that is quite clearly established. You know, how can you, in any way shy away from Pakistan's responsibility? And this is a cost that Pakistan will have to pay today. Already your people in the statements that are being issued show the kind of nervousness that is there in Pakistan. Hamid Khan.
Look. What shall I say when your official accounts established the blaming the ISI and Pakistan just after 3 minutes of this attack, your Twitter and all other handles starting blaming and giving all the false proofs, then it gives all the possible.
What is the false proof?
Yes, it was a false flag operation.
What is the false proof?
And it was all well planned, and that's why.
What is the false proof, sir? Tell us. Prove your statement. Don't make empty rhetoric over here. Don't come out here and try and spread your propaganda. Give us what is the proof that this was a false flag operation?
What's the point, honestly?
Sir, what is the proof? I'm asking you to back up your claim. What is your proof? Do you have any evidence?
Yes.
What is the evidence?
Internal issues going on. Whenever there is some American VIP is visiting, why do you create these things? Because it is not in the benefit of Pakistan to create.
Sir, Bill Clinton happened 25 years ago. Please don't try and give us lectures on what happens domestically in India, and don't try and exploit our internal political faults. Speak and take responsibility for the fact that you are a net exporter of terror today. That's all you are. And be prepared for the consequences for your own actions.
Look, from your end, we are suffering from terrorism in Balochistan, in KPK. Yes, we have given you we never blame you the next day or the same day.
Please, sir, you have blamed India a number of times, and you've never been able to prove those claims either.
I'm just saying, when we say that yes, Indian RAW is involved or Indian government is involved, we have all the proofs. Sadly, your government or your media and your
what a joke.
They do not do any kind of investigation.
RSN Singh, I think they've forgotten the dossier after 2611, which had multiple proofs. And in fact, one of those individuals, Tahir Rana, has been extradited by the United States to India. If you wanted more proof, we had Kasab, who was caught alive and was hanged as well. There is enough and more proof that is out there in the public domain, Mr. Hamid Khan. Don't try and obfuscate today. You are a terror country, a terror state, and a terror state that will receive its just desserts in just a few days from now. RSN Singh, I want you to respond to Hamid Khan.
No, they were dismissive about the dossiers because the geopolitical framework and the American dispensation favored them. So now the geopolitics has changed and it is subject to change. And this timing of this, interview blaming the Americans, well, I think it is because he feels that the Americans have let them down. Remember, Americans, every country has their strategic interest. And he's just appealing to the American audience that, look, you are the one who brokered this Indus water treaty. So if I may tell my, esteemed Pakistan panelists that your chief Asim Munir said that हमको अपने नस्लों को बताना होगा कि हमने किस तरीके से बच्चों को बताना होगा कैसे हमने कुर्बानी देके पाकिस्तान ली है, हमसे छीन के ली है, तो आपने हमसे छीन के अगर ली है तो we are not obliged to provide you water. And we have done it when the Vice President of the United States is on the soil of India.
Come on. There are multiple. There was a long process. There was a treaty. World Bank was the guarantor. Come on, I mean, you have to show some grace and be a responsible state.
We are not entitled to provide you water.
What are you trying to convey to the audience here? We are not obligated to provide you the water. In the world, there is a countries who are upstream, downstreaming the water. Let the water flow.
हमने बहुत ज्यादा कुर्बानी दी और ये कुर्बानी बच्चों को बताना चाहिए. Sacrifices. You have made sacrifices. That's good. Why should we provide you water? We provided you water because we were also a victim of the geopolitics that time, because the British created you. You were never a homeland for Muslims, so that therefore you have absolutely no claim about the Muslims of the world. Why not? Why no claim on the Palestinians? You take them in your country.
And Hamid Khan, the end of the day, Hamid Khan, Abdul Samad, the fact is that this entire aspect, the treaty that was formed is a lopsided treaty, where India gets 20% and Pakistan gets 80% of the water. Why should India do that when all that you do is come here and try to spread terror, and try and spread your policy, which you said and admitted to, is to try and bleed India by 1,000 cuts? Why should India just lie down and allow all of this to happen?
These were the covert policies. I mean, listen, the treaties are open, treaties are public. I mean, the LOC. How have you decided the LOC? I mean, there was...
Which you have said, now Shimla, very good. I'm so glad you raised that. I'm so glad you raised that, because the Shimla agreement, you have now put in abeyance. So India does not need to respect the LOC anymore. India can easily cross over the LOC. That's what you have ultimately done now, Abdul Samad.
There is something called spirit of the treaty. There is something called spirit of the treaty.
Yes. The spirit of the treaty. If we are following the spirit of treaty, you are bound to follow. If you are not going to
how are you following the spirit?
You will be losing your reputation as a state.
Sir, India has already articulated in its letter from the Department of Jal Shakti, which has been sent to your secretary, which says that you have violated the spirit, which is why India is now taking up the step of putting the entire agreement and treaty in abeyance. And if you feel there is a redressal in international law, go and take an appeal somewhere in any particular court where you think there will be a specific performance of that contract. But you cannot do so, because this is not a legally enforceable treaty. And India has exposed you today.
No. You may, these panelists, including the host, doesn't has much knowledge about the Indus Water Treaty and how does it work actually. So you need to revisit and you need to You cannot even make an amendment without consent of the
Absolutely.
countries.
So you go to the World Bank, you go to the International Court of Justice, wherever you think you will get justice, and we'll see how that plays out legally. Lalit.
Yeah, Colonel RSN Singh ने बिल्कुल अच्छी तरह से outrightly clear words में he has explained that since we have put this Indus water treaty under abeyance, it's a declaration of war from our side. Take it, please. It's a declaration of war. We agree. And listen, we have been trying to be very moderate with you, very soft with you, because our previous governments have been trying to pursue peace with Pakistan. Now we realize it was like pursuing mirage. It wasn't only Indus water treaty, it was 100%, 60%, 70% in favor of Pakistan. We knew it. We never stopped water because now water and blood will not flow together. Let Pakistanis remember it. And also remember, we gave you Hajipir Daraya. We returned your 1 lakh soldiers who had surrendered their belt in Dhaka. Unconditionally returned them, and then we pardon you the genocide of Kashmiri Hindus in Kashmir. We did not even take any action against that. Now it's enough is enough. Now Pakistan has to pay, and I can assure you one thing: it's just a beginning. Time is not too far. It's going to be very. Balakot was a Tervi. I was hoping it's going to be Chotha for this Pahalgam, what you have done. Your country, most of your country will be converted into Gaza.
Okay, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Lalit Ambardar, RSN Singh, Hamid Khan, Abdul Samad. The world needs to know this. This is a country that actually calls Osama bin Laden a martyr, believe it or not. And the same approach as far as terror is concerned, terror spread, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in the United States, whether it's in India, terror is terror. And the fountainhead of this terror is Pakistan. It's high time that India acts to end that particular fountainhead. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us on this edition of the National Debate.